So this is a 15-minute practice. I am going to try to time it, and if I'm a little bit over, a little bit under, that's okay. At least I'm here and I'm doing something. So I always like to stay or get in a position that's kind of a little bit comfortable for me to be in for about 2 minutes. And the reason being is that sometimes you're just so flustered with what's going to happen in the day or what's happened in the day that you just kind of need to get your nervous system kind of settled down just a little bit. And so what I like to do is I either like to get my legs up on a chair, or sometimes I like to get onto my back. I've got 2 chip foam blocks here. I'm going to put the chip foam blocks under my pelvis, and I'm going to just lay here. I'm just going to come to the breath and just see if I can feel my breathing, okay? Just breathing in and breathing out. And at the same time, just kind of thinking what part of my body actually wants to get some movement happening today. And I think I want to move with the pelvis and the legs, and maybe do 1 or 2 things with the arms. Now, if this is too high for you, just lower it down. So you can roll a blanket, put a bunch of pillows underneath, a couple of blocks, books, whatever you need. So I've just taken 1 block off. For me, I'd rather have the 2, but you have to figure out what's best for you here. And then we're going to bring those down. And I always like to start my practice and the classes that I teach with just movement in the legs. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a butterfly, okay? So I'm opening up the leg out to the side and then back again. So one thing that you want to really try to not to do is end up doing a twist like this, okay? The idea is to open and close the leg and knowing what your range of motion is, okay? And the movement should be easy. It should be soft. You shouldn't have to force the movement to happen. If you only move this much, that's all you're going to do, okay? And one thing that you have to really remember is that I've been doing this for a long time. And so yes, my legs will open up a lot more than maybe yours will. So don't try to go as far as I'm going, okay? It's just the legs moving in the hip. And what you can do is you can actually visualize the top of the femur, the head of the femur, or the ham bone, like I like to call it, feeling it move in the hip into the joint, okay? And noticing what the difference is between both legs. One leg you maybe can't go as far. One leg maybe feels jerky. You have to maybe think about doing this with one leg versus the other. Okay, so a lot of things to think about here. And then I feel like moving my ankles. So I'm going to put my hands behind my thighs, and then I'm going to bring the leg back so that my arms are nice and straight. And I'm going to make circles in my ankles. Okay, so the foot is moving in one direction. I like to start with the big toe side, because you usually, about 75% of the people find that this is the easiest to go in this direction. And again, I'm not forcing anything to happen. I'm just moving the leg and just making circles with my foot. And then the other side. So notice what you're feeling here, okay? Was it in one direction, it was easy? In the pinky side direction, maybe a little bit harder? And then you're just going to point and flex. So as you're pointing and flexing, notice what's happening to the calf muscles and to the shin muscles. Because as you're moving the foot, actually in any movement that you do with your body, one muscle has to lengthen, the other muscle has to shorten. So notice what's happening here. At what point is the calf actually lengthening, and at what point is the calf shortening? And the same thing with the shins. Okay, let's try the other side now. Arms are straight, hands are behind the thighs. You're gonna go on the big toe side. Now, if you find that this is really difficult to actually put your hands behind your thighs, grab a strap. I don't have one with me, but grab a strap right behind, and you're gonna do the same thing, okay? You'll have the strap behind the thigh, and that's going to keep the upper leg stable, so that just the lower leg and the foot are actually doing the movement, okay? Go the other way. A couple of times here. Kind of remember what you felt on the first leg and see what you can feel on this leg, or this foot, or this lower leg. And you're going to point and flex. Again, don't force the movement to happen. Sometimes I play around with the toes, and toes are up towards the ceiling, toes are towards the wall in front. Sometimes I like to play around with the heel, pushing the heel out, relaxing the heel in. Okay. And then I like to just bring my legs down and just notice what I'm feeling here. And notice if I feel a little bit flatter on the mat. I may or I may not. If I feel just a little bit relaxed, more than I am before I started the practice. And then one more thing on the floor here. Arms are up to the side, palms are facing up. Now you're going to move your pelvis. Okay? So when we move the pelvis, this is doing a little bit of a twist. You can move your pelvis separate from your rib cage. So notice that I'm not moving the rib cage, and my feet and my legs are going along for the ride. It's the pelvis that's moving. It's like a big bowl of water, and you're moving the pelvis from side to side. The water is going in one direction, the water is going in the other direction, okay? I'm not asking you to twist as much as you can. We're just getting a little bit of movement happening here. Up and down. Okay. And then I want you to draw the knees in towards the chest and give them a hug. You can do whatever you want with your lower back. You can maybe bring your forehead up towards your knees and then back again. Bring the feet down. Notice what they feel. Okay. So from here, we're going to go into cat-cow. Super easy. Moving the rib cage, or I'm sorry, the spine up and down. Now, when I'm going into cat-cow, what I really like to do is open up my fingers. That gives me a little bit more stability. And seeing if I can get the thumbs to get closer towards each other. Okay, so pointing towards each other. Okay, so the fingers are nice and wide, and I'll do it this way. Knees are hip width apart. I've got the back of my feet, or the top of my feet on the floor, and I'm moving up and down. So a lot of times what I'll see when I first start teaching someone is cat-cow is the upper back, but you have to remember that the spine goes right from the tailbone right to the base of the neck. And so you want to see if you can get the whole spine to move. Okay. So notice how my pelvis is moving. The tailbone is moving up and down, and I'm not forcing the movement into the upper back. It's just up and down. Okay. And then from here, we can bring one foot forward and then step forward, come up, come back down again, get onto our knees. And then we're going to bring the other foot forward, come into standing, come up. And then from here, let's just do a little bit of arm circles, okay? Nothing huge. But what I would like you to do is I want you to bend the elbows. Now, when we do arm circles, we can actually use our hands to do the movement. We can use the wrists or the forearms to do the movement. But what I'd like you to do is try to do the elbows. Ask the elbows to do the movement, okay? Nice big circles. So that's why you really want to get the elbows to bend a little bit. Now gravity is coming right down on these arms and shoulders. And so gravity makes the arms a lot heavier, okay? So from here, I want you to let it go. You're going to bend your elbow, palm is facing up. You're going to take your other hand. You're going to bring the thumbs and maybe the middle fingers or one of the fingers to stabilize the wrist. You're going to begin to make circles with your wrists. Okay, so you're using the muscles in the wrist to do the circles. Notice how my hand is actually really super relaxed here. Okay, going in the other direction. Okay, going in the other hand. Okay, notice which hand has more mobility. Is it the right or the left? And then think about, what are you, right-handed or left-handed? And think about which hand or arm actually has more mobility here. And then from here, I'm going to lay down on my mat. If you find that your head is really uncomfortable or your neck is really uncomfortable here, put something under your head, lay on the mat. You can either have the knees bent or straight, whatever is more comfortable. If the lower back is actually arching quite a bit, you can bring the knees up. Okay. Today I like my legs down. Palms are facing up. I always think that when the palms are facing down, you're kind of gripping the ground. When the palms are facing up, you're just more relaxed. I want you to notice your breath. Just breathing in and breathing out. A couple more breaths here. Notice how you're settling into the ground. Notice how maybe your body is more relaxed. More weight is transferring into the mat. And then from here, when you're done, you can stay here as long as you want. Just draw the knees in towards the chest, give them a hug, maybe bring the forehead up towards the ears, bring your feet down. Now come up into a seated position. And from here, I want you just to take a breath here, see how you're feeling. Namaste.